Welcome to Down South Football Podcast, man. We come to you live after the Georgia versus Ohio State game, man. I, Dave, I don't think we could ask for any more than what we got today. Uh, so I don't even know where to start. I don't even know what to say because those two games were absolutely phenomenal. Of course, Marvin Harrison going out really hurt Ohio State. A lot of great calls in that game. Some that went Ohio State way, some that went Georgia way. But I just don't know where to start at. I don't even know where to start at when it comes to this game, man. Because it was two great games that we had, but definitely right now we talking about Georgia versus Ohio State was another classic. So you take it away, sir.
It was another classic. I think that Ohio State did everything right. I don't think they. I mean they did enough to win the game. I mean honestly, um,
Yeah,
my theory is that when you're in that position down the stretch, a lot of teams, and I've been saying it for years, that they scale that. It seems like they scale their offense down to where when they know a field goal is all they need to win, you kind of play for that field goal versus go ahead and run their offense and go from there. But in the case like tonight, that scenario bit Ohio State in the butt. But I will say this: I had an old mentor tell me. He said that I'm not concerned about the balls that you catch. I'm more concerned about the balls that you drop. And
always.
what I mean by that, what he meant by that was that okay, it's all well and good. We can always go back to the highlights of the ones you catch and the big plays you made, but sometimes it's those balls that you don't catch. They can be
Right.
the determining factor sometimes in games. And so, as great as I'm not blaming Marvin Harrison for this loss, but I will say that that pass that he dropped on like a 36, 37 was a huge turning point in the momentum wise as far as this game. But not to put that all on him, but that was one of his of all the great things he did. That was one of the things that he did, one play that he did make, and I think that that was a key play that you just kind of have to make for your team. But overall, I thought it was an outstanding game. I think that they both did enough and made enough adjustments to win the game, and it ended like I guess it should have ended. Well, if you make the field goal, it ended like it should have, but it ended in how it should have ended. You know, Nick said, "Let's." So, congratulations to the Georgia fans, Georgia team. Um, we'll see y'all next week. You know, so that's where I'm at with it.
Man, I just want to say, it's so much to reflect on right now, and we know it's a over here in Alabama. It's almost midnight, so I have to go do stuff with the family in a few minutes. But I just wanted to get on and say, man, I don't think we could have scripted two better games. Uh, to to not close out, but to almost finalize like this year because we've been saying all year long that this thing was wide open. We've been saying all year
Mhm.
long, and everything that we have said already is coming to fruition, just about what we talked about before. So, I don't even know how to put it all in words. I know looking at the stats, man, you gotta look at CJ Stroud effort. Everything that he did was great, was wonderful. Stetson threw almost 400 yards. Stroud threw for 348. I mean, you can't really ask for much more. And I mean, their rushing was crazy part about it. The rushing was about even. I'm talking about like 16 yards apart, man. I mean, that was really it. That was really it. 16 yards.
But yeah,
That's it. That's the
CJ made
crazy
up
part about it.
CJ made up a lot of that with him scrambling
Yeah,
and making plays. You know, which I mean, they gave it to him, so I mean, it was there. So I mean, he should have. So yeah.
I just feel like we're gonna have a. It's gonna take me a minute to wrap my head around everything that we saw tonight. maybe in a better breakdown. But I think just in the moment right now, for what we're saying, post game with Georgia versus Ohio State, it was back and forth. I mean, it's what you wanted in the game. Now I wish the field goal was a little bit closer. You know, I mean, it was in a controlled environment, and he just really just shanked it. But you got to give a shout out to Ohio State #1 for bringing what they needed to bring to be competitive in this game, because a lot of people had wrote them off. You got to give a shout out to what Georgia did to bring it to where they are right now to be defending champions. I mean, like, you really can't say too much bad about the fact, except for the fact where Marvin Harrison got his bell rung and he is officially in concussion protocol right now. I mean, if I'm an Ohio State fan, I'm upset. I'm mad, but you know, he's definitely in concussion protocol right now. So, I mean, it's
right now he just has a concussion. The protocol would have happened if he would have won the game.
But you know what I meant.
But anyway, I mean, I know what you're saying. I'm just messing. But yeah, I know what you're saying. yeah, I know what you're saying. He has clearly way enough time to heal up from this. But I mean, I think that
you didn't have to say it like that.
I mean, well, it's the truth at this point. But I'm just going to address some of the things that are out there. I mean, I hear and see, some. Man, I just hate it. Just always had to go back to Alabama. But some fans, man, we were one of the top 4 teams. This blah 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 blah. But listen, regardless of how you feel, if you didn't have 11 wins, you probably weren't. You weren't gonna get in this. But as you can see, the top 4. It was no blowouts. It was, I mean, either one of these games could have went either way. You know what I mean? These are 4 great teams that are battling it out. And also what I saw was also a need for the expansion. The need for the expansion. I mean, he was out for the spring game anyway. He ain't playing with that crap. But the need for the expansion, and when I say what I mean by that is that you see that was 2 teams. It could have possibly been 2 teams that did not win their conference championship game that are playing for the national championship. Now you have one and one that won, one did not win. Even though they won it, maybe if you want to count a regular season, however you want to count it. But right. I said to say this: look at the injuries on both sides. Okay, let's just say a Harrison. Let's just say, for example, a first round matchup. A Harrison takes a blow like this, and let's say he in concussion protocol and he don't clear next week. Mm-hmm. So a team that you feel like an Ohio State should beat, they may not beat because they may not have their best player. TCU, I saw at least 2 guys go down there were key. So
Georgia,
that's why I want the expansion. Georgia too. I saw a lot of those guys. I saw that tight end, that big tight end, number 0. I saw him going into the locker room. So, to say that, this team will wipe the floor with this team, okay, that's cool. But once you start to play in those extra games, which extra is relative, we're getting down another time. But once you start playing those games, man, you just never know what may happen. So this is why you play the sport. This is why you play the game. And I had a good time tonight watching these games.
I mean, and I think I saw that all tonight too about, just for the brief time I was on like my Twitter and everything, I saw some people that I knew that was just like you said, talking about that. I'm like, how do we get to this point where we are in college football? It's like, oh, we're definitely in the 40. Y'all see these 2 teams. We could have beat them. But there's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams who could say that same thing. If Tennessee can say it no, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, you saying with Tennessee what?
I'm saying with Tennessee with a healthy Hendon Hooker and the full squad can say the same thing. I'm just saying, like, it ain't just one team to me to say, oh, this one team could have done it. I know that's what a lot of people want to say, but I think tonight continue to prove, because a lot of people were cheering for TCU to get blown off the field. Like they cheered against like the smaller teams in in the past. I just think it's wrong to think that way. But I think this right here just further proves that you got to get in between those two white lines. You got in between those two white lines, and once you're in it, nothing, anything can happen.
Well, I think that for us, man, and Reggie said that we're both teams. I'm gonna address this in my second point. But Reggie was saying we're both Michigan and Ohio State losing. How does that set the expectation for next season? Either coach on the hot seat, which I'll address that. But I'm gonna address what you mentioned first. I think Williams that a lot of this that we hear and see is relative to our location. I don't think it's anybody in Kentucky sitting here mad because Bama didn't make the playoffs. You see what I'm saying? I think that I don't think it's anybody in Arkansas that's saying that, Bama should have been in the top 4. I don't think it's anybody in Oklahoma stating that. I think that a lot of the things, I think that a lot of our frustration is because we are here with it locally. So I think it was proven tonight that these 4 teams were a great match for each other. Now, if you expand the playoff with one of these 4 win, who knows? Now, back to what Reggie mentioned. Reggie was talking about the Michigan OSU, the coaching hot seat. Really, can Ryan Day win the big game? That's the big thing. Harbaugh for 2-0. Well, the last 2 years he's beat Ryan Day. I think he's 2-0 against Ryan Day, right? So he's 2-0 against him.
I know him definitely last 2 years. I know him definitely last 2 years, of course.
Yeah. How long Ryan Day had the job?
3
About
years.
2 years.
I thought it was his 3rd year.
Yeah, it could be. But how it is, Harbaugh had the winning record against him. I put it that way, and and Ryan Day hadn't proved that he can win a big game. So I think if it's anybody on the hot seat, I think it's Ryan Day. But at the same time, can you really get rid of a coach that went 11-1 in the regular season, ended up 11-2? So that's it. But when you're a program like Ohio State, maybe you can.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, it was already some rumblings, but to me, I think with a game that came down like that, I don't think you can sit up and say, "Oh, he can't win the big one." If he gets blown out, then that's a case for that. But bottom line is just being on here just a couple of minutes. I'm sure we will break this game down a little bit more as more things come out. First of all, Happy New Year to everybody that's on here. Coming up for some people here in the Central Time Zone in the next 11 minutes. For some of y'all in the Eastern Time Zone, it's almost 1 o'clock there. So, it's a lot. It's a lot to process. There's a lot going on with it, but can't take away the 2 phenomenal games that we had, and that's just kind of where I am with it right now. So, I just can't talk about it too much with it. I think it's going to be great breaking down over the next couple of days, but got to give a shout out to all four teams, really, all 4 teams. And Reggie talking about said UJ got rid of Mark Richt the season he had to win. Yeah, but that was years in the making about Mark Richt too. That was a lot of disappointment and a lot of things like that. So I don't know if we could say that with Ryan Day. Yeah, that's just yet. But like I said, we just said just for a few minutes, man. We just want to talk about this for a few minutes. Both our compadres our other 2 compadres are off doing things, New Year things and stuff like that. But this game was awesome, wonderful, and the best thing, you got games still coming up that we can get into. But these playoff games have certainly lived up to the billing. Dave, you got anything else?
Man, I don't really have a whole lot more. I am a little bit disappointed that Ohio State couldn't pull it off. One thing that I just think that offensive coaches should just keep. I understand the method about, hey, if I can kick this field goal, I win. But at the same time, if you was in that same position in the third quarter, you would not approach that drive that way. So I think you should still keep pressing. And I know that's some people may feel differently, but hey, congratulations to Georgia. They did what they had to do. They scrapped, they scraped, they crawled back. And again, I want you guys to, the ones that maybe listen to the broadcast or listen to this podcast, listen. I need you to reevaluate what defense is. I need you to. I mean, I really need you to do that because, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like I really want you. You kept talking about, you talk about the teams in the Big 12, they don't play no defense. Well,
I don't think we can say that. I don't think we can say that crap no more, man. I really don't. I mean, I think that's an old cop out.
Yeah, you got to leave that crap where it is because I just saw a Big 12 team hang 51 on a Big 10 team, and I just saw a Big 10 team. What did they score, like 40 something, almost 50 points, right? Was it either 41, 42, 41, right?
41, 42, 41.
The last game? Yeah. Right. So I just saw a Big 10 team hang 41 points on what some of you SEC fans would say is the best defense in the SEC. So I just need you to really, reevaluate what you're talking about. This is football in 2022, not 2002 or 1982. It's a whole lot different now.
Yeah, it's a lot. We are in a generational change with college football, man. A lot of people don't know how to deal with it. Don't know how to adjust to it and stuff like that. So it's just one of those things, man.
I will say this. I saw what Reggie was saying about TCU corners. Here's my what I think about TCU. TCU is a big physical team. They're big at every freaking position. From the running back to the safety, they are big. Their corners are legit. Now, did they safeties get caught with their eyes in the backfield today? Yes. I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. Simply because Michigan is what they are, a run-heavy team. They're a run-first team. So I get it. I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. And this may come back and bite me in the butt. And I'm not saying TCU is going to beat Georgia. Only thing I'm saying is, I'm not saying that. Only thing I'm saying is TCU is big. They're freaking physical, and they can score some goddamn on points. And they're big at every position. Their corners are big. Their safeties are big. Everybody's big.
Y'all just need to make sure y'all tune in before we break it down, get into that game and get into this game a little bit more. But we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here because if they call my name one more time from down these steps, I think I might have to hurt somebody. So appreciate y'all for everything, man. Happy New Year to everybody on here. Happy New Year to everybody that supports us, man. It's been another great long day, but hey, we enjoyed doing it. We appreciate y'all, man. Happy New Year to y'all, and like I said, we'll be back real soon with another episode and some more breakdowns and good stuff like that. But for Bernard, for Dave, for DSL Podcast, man, I think we up out this thing, fellas, and we'll holler at y'all later on. Y'all celebrate 2023.